theaters are selling $50 toys now. Must be about the popcorn buckets, because Masters Universe is just going all in on the popcorn buckets. It seems like every big movie these days has got to have some kind of popcorn bucket, some kind of fancy popcorn bucket. And I've seen so many from Masters Universe. I've seen the Skeletor's Havoc throne. I've seen Castle Grayskull. I've seen Battle Cat. I've seen Skeletor's head. I've even seen what I believe is a drink container that's based around the Power Sword. A lot of crazy stuff. So anyway, what I got to open up for you today is Despara from Masters of the Universe New Etheria from Masteverse. And over here on the sides, we got some Horde troopers, and we got this character up here that I don't recognize. I was thinking maybe at first I thought her name was Octavia, but she looks like she has a purple face and black hair, and I'm pretty sure Octavia has a green face and orange hair, but I could be mistaken about that. And she's just surrounded by Horde troopers. And over here at the side, we have Despara with her Horde tiara rather than the ugly old Hordak mask. And there's Adora looking all lovely. So let's read the bio on the back. It says here, Despara, powerful captain of the evil Horde. After learning of her past as Princess Adora, Despara now searches for the power of Grayskull so she can usurp Hordak's throne as leader of the evil Horde. Well, she's not going to say that way, is she? Personally, I wasn't really a fan of the whole Despara concept because I didn't like the look of the character, basically. This is just my personal opinion. I didn't like her having like a Hordak mask. I thought that was kind of silly and a little too edgelord. And then when she takes off the mask, she had like a buzz cut or something. I'm just like, why? Why'd you do that? Sean Franklin is here, and he says, hi, Sean Franklin. Hope you're doing well today. So yeah, always a pleasure to see Sean Franklin. All right, so let's get the tape cut on the sides here. Oh, yeah, and the cross-cell artwork on the back. So we got Despara and Keldor, which I already opened, and Dragstore, which I don't have yet. I don't know if I'm gonna get Dragstore, but if I do, you guys will be the first to know. Jason's Electric is here and says, hi, Alan. I've been on the fence about getting this figure, so I'm glad to see your review. Well, hopefully this helps you make a decision one way or the other. As usually goes with New Eternia and New Etheria, since this is a She-Ra character, she's going to have a lot of different looks, and hopefully at least one of them should be appealing. So let's go ahead and take her out of the package. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that this head sculpt of Adora, and it's the same one, by the way, that's on the New Etheria She-Ra figure. I'm pretty sure these are both supposed to be in the same continuity. So she does eventually become She-Ra. I'd heard a lot of people say that they thought this head sculpt looked like Celine Dion. And personally, I don't see that. Like, it just if you want my opinion, I don't really see Celine Dion. But she did look kind of familiar to me, and I couldn't quite place where I'd seen that face. And finally it hit me. It's Angela from The Office. Angela from The Office is the New Etheria She-Ra / Adora / Despara. And she has my least favorite aspect of any Mattel figure with soft goods, which is that they taped the cape into the package. And this one has like a nice big chunk of residue. I don't know if you can make it. Can you make that out? Yeah, you can see that on the camera. Nice big chunk of residue there. So that's just ugly. That is unfortunate. Now let me get my snips. I know I had my snips over there because I was doing 3D printer stuff and I needed the snips to snip some filament, which is their intended purpose anyway, but they work just fine for this. And it is a little bit easier to deal with these rubber tabs when I cut them from the back. There we go. And I believe that is all of them. And then the first accessory of many is she has her Hordak mask. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Let me get her out of the package first. And she's got a simple black cape. Like I said, soft goods. It's made out of the same type of material. It seems like almost to me that the old Superpowers capes were made out of. It's very similar to that. Not identical, but pretty similar. And she's got a breastplate that's mostly gunmetal gray. Got some black detailing over the shoulders and down the back. Got a red Horde symbol on the front and kind of like a red sort of, I don't know if you call it a gem. It almost looks kind of like the thing that's on Man-at-Arms' armor and the Revelation version of Tila. She's got that, you know, to look kind of like Man-at-Arms. That's when she became Man-at-Arms. Maybe that's just something that high-ranking military officials have in the Masters of the Universe. But usually Despara does not have white sleeves. But this one does have white sleeves. Why does she have white sleeves? We're getting to that. Of course, if you saw on the back of the package, and if you saw the side there, you've probably already figured it out. But we're gonna talk more about that in a little bit. And then we got the paper bag, little paper envelope with some other accessories in there. And we have two of these. They're kind of like dueling swords. They're not very long, and they're not very they don't look very substantial. Now, I know that when they did the Origins version of Despara, which I do not have, she came with, I think they just recolored Triclops' sword. So she came with two of those. And then Adora has two solid fists. Despara, whatever you prefer. And then lastly, the Adora head. Pam is the office mattress. So, so yeah, that's Angela from The Office. That's who that is. That's who that looks like. I think it's a nice head sculpt, if you don't mind that she looks like Angela from The Office. And then the kind of standard head that's on her already, the Despara head. She doesn't have that buzz cut thing going on, but she does have kind of like almost like a mohawk. It looks like she shaved her hair into a mohawk and it's starting to grow out a little bit. I was kind of thinking maybe this was just hair that was like kind of pulled back or braided, but no, it is like just very close cropped hair on the sides here. And then longer hair, still not like incredibly long, but kind of longer hair over the top and down the back. And I gotta say, I like this haircut better than her just having a buzz cut like the comic book version had. I didn't really care for that, but this I think is like a much more cool and unique kind of hairstyle. I think this is a good hairstyle for her. So when she's in her evil mode, and she certainly is evil because look at those glowing red eyes. So I guess when she's been hypnotized by Shadow Weaver. Let's not get into that again. All right. So first accessory I want to talk about is her mask. And I figure a lot of people would probably want to display her with her mask because that's what she had in the comic book. And it kind of just covers the front of her face. And it's got these little clips at the side that hold them on. Do you see those two little clips? And it seems like it's staying on fairly well. Like it's not falling off. So that's good. But I do like this mask better than the kind of standard one. Because while it obviously is supposed to look somewhat like Hordak, it's more of like a stylized, kind of like a kabuki kind of mask. And I like that. I think that's really cool. If she's going to wear a mask that looks like Hordak, I would much prefer it to be something like this, where it's just like an evil looking face that kind of looks like Hordak, than her, like, almost looks like she made a mold of Hordak's face and slapped it on her own. So there's that. And this is actually what I always imagined and always wanted for like an evil version of She-Ra to have. I always thought it would be really cool if she had a tiara like what She-Ra has, but with the horde bat wings instead of the feathery bird wings. And you can see it. I kind of imagine it being red or black, but they made it in like this gunmetal gray color, which is really cool. And then she does have the little crest up the forehead, which along with being kind of vaguely shaped like Hordak's ears anyway. I've got Hordak over here, so we can look at Hordak because I've got the Masteverse Hordak. So you can see it does have like some resemblance to Hordak, but it's not like blatantly like a Hordak mask. So I like this. This is probably like going to be like my go-to headpiece for Despara. For my version of Despara, when that concept fits into my version of Masters Universe, this is going to be what she looks like. So this to me, like, I want to say in the comic book they did this thing where like where Despara was like She-Ra became Despara again or something. She went bad again, and that was the thing that I really did not like. I didn't want She-Ra to go bad again. Like I wanted her to stay good. Like I was like, don't do that. That's no. Bobby Wald says, you know what's funny is my daughter George He-Man with me, and I'll try to put something on. I guess I don't know why it says George there. I'm guessing it's like, maybe are you doing voice to text and it did something weird. I'm guessing you mean your father. You're the father. Your daughter watched He-Man with you, and then you'll try to put on something like She-Ra, and she doesn't like it. Well, I mean, it's I guess it's just one of those things. There were a lot of female fans of He-Man back in the day. A lot of little girls liked He-Man, probably because they just thought it was a good show. Their brother was already watching it, and they started watching it, and they liked it. And there are good, I don't mean strong female characters in the way that people sarcastically say strong female watches. Yeah, so voice, I'm guessing it's voice to text. Is it voice to text? It does weird things sometimes, but they're literally strong female characters, and they didn't try to write female characters in that sort of girl boss kind of way where they were just better than the male characters in every possible way. They were characters with flaws and tragedies in their backstory, and like they were fully rounded characters. Teela on Masters of the Universe, let's be honest, she can be kind of a bitch, like if we're being real about it. And don't get me wrong, I love Teela. Teela is one of my favorite characters in the entire franchise, but she could be kind of a bitch. Like, let's be honest, she could be kind of bitchy. Like, and I think that was, for me, part of the appeal of the character. She was fiery and feisty, and she put up a little bit of a challenge as far as like, she wasn't just like some sweet demure shrinking violet wilting flower kind of thing. She was a real woman, and that was a big part of that appeal. She was tough. She had some attitude, and it got her into trouble sometimes. It's not nowadays, like if they, hopefully they don't do this in the movie. Hopefully they stick to what worked in the cartoon when they do her in the movie. In the live action, the 1987 movie, I think, did a good job of that too. But Teela should be a character who should have some flaws to her, and I think that's why even like Revelation worked for me. And a lot of people like didn't like her characterization on Revelation because she was kind of bitchy in that. And I'm like, well, Teela always was kind of bitchy, but I love her. That's Bobby Wald says nothing is bigger confidence builder than your phone telling you what bad grammar you have. Thanks, phone. Yeah, like I love it when the phone tries to correct like a common word. Like I'll type bird or something and it'll try to correct it to Bilderberg, and I'm just like, no. Why would you think I'm not typing bird? It's dumb. Jason's Electric says, I agree about Tila. I love Tila. I really do. She's if she's not my favorite character in all of He-Man, she's like my second favorite character after Skeletor. And then He-Man's probably like number 3. So, and he's the main character. You know, don't get me wrong, I love He-Man. We all love He-Man, right? Anybody who loves Masters of the Universe, you gotta love He-Man. But I am more of a fan of Skeletor and Tila, if I'm being honest about it. So yeah, I like the gunmetal motif because I kind of feel like that's a color that like it fits with a Hordak type color scheme, but it's not necessarily like a Hordak color. You don't really see gunmetal on Hordak that much. Like if we look at this one, usually the silver parts are like more of a true silver, and he has the black. And sometimes he'll have gray, sometimes he'll have blue. This one obviously is more based on the Filmation, so he's got blue. But yeah, they look like they complement each other. She looks like she could be his adoptive daughter, which I think is the look that they're going for. And I really like that look. Let's get a look at her next to Tila, since I have Tila over here. There we go. And let's move on to something else now. So she does have these swords, and they do have 2 little loops here in the back where we can put the swords in there, and you can see when. Oops, I knocked the tiara off. You can see that when you get the swords in there, they kind of cross, so that's nice. I like that. That's a nice touch. And I'm wondering how well she's going to hold on to these swords, since, like I said, they do seem very dainty. You know, a weapon that would have been nice to give her also is a blaster, because I know that both, you know, when she's Force Captain Adora and when she's with the Great Rebellion, Adora generally favors a blaster as her personal weapon. But there she is with her 2 swords. And they do look pretty cool. But like I said, I kind of feel like they're just a little short. Like I know that like the She-Ra, the Sword of Protection, is fairly short, but these I kind of feel like should be a little longer. And I noticed that she has a horizontal hinge on this. Right, I would have rather she had the vertical hinge, the held aloft position. So let's get to what I think is one of the best features about this figure. And like I mentioned before, like most new Eternia / new Etheria figures, she's got different looks, and we've already seen at least 3 of the different looks with just the plain head and with the mask and with the tiara. But if we take off her breastplate and her little armored kilt thing, oh, this does strap around the legs as well. Those leg straps are not separate pieces. Those are actually attached into this kilt. That's going to interfere with the articulation, I think. We'll have to try that later. Oh, look at that. And we put the regular Adora head on here. And now we have Princess Adora. You know, she's a good guy now. Oh, we got to take this Horde armband off. She cannot have a Horde armband if she's supposed to be Princess Adora. That would not be good. And the Horde armband is like, it's a really tight fit to get it over this. Let me try. Is that a separate piece? I don't know if that's a separate piece. It looks like it is not, but I can't really tell. It does not seem to be coming off. So yeah, we're gonna have to kind of try to pull it over this bracer. And I really don't want to do that because it's got this gold paint at the trim, and I just know it's going to get scuffed. And it did, in fact. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it did get slightly scuffed. There's a little bit of a seam here, a little bit of a rough edge, and where the armband scraped over that's where it pulled up some paint. So unfortunate. Now this is, I feel like, and I was never able to get. I think I was able to get Adora for classics, But this is a fairly accurate rendition of what Adora's costume looked like on the Filmation cartoon series. It's not identical. Like, it does have this gold trim, which I don't think it had on the cuffs and the boots like that. I don't think it did. I could be mistaken. I could be misremembering. But it is very similar. My 3D printer is done doing 3D printer stuff. So one difference though is that well, there's a skirt for one thing, rather than she just kind of had trunks, like almost like a leotard on the show, but here it's a little bit more of just a short little skirt. She's got oh man. I'm gonna get back to this. Bobby Wald says taking off her breastplate is, what is this, Eternia After Dark? Well, she's wearing a vest underneath and another shirt. It's probably, since this is Angela from The Office, it's probably clothes that she got at the American Girl doll store, like, you know. So I don't know, but she's dressed fairly conservatively. I mean, like, it's a cute outfit, but it doesn't show a lot of skin or anything. She's got a white sort of turtleneck, and she's got that red vest, the red sort of mini dress, I guess. But Adora on the cartoon, she had bare legs. So these, if it was like a 100% Filmation accurate, she would have bare legs. Now they made them this brown color, and what I think this is supposed to represent, what I thought this was supposed to represent, and I'm not sure about the execution now. I'm gonna get back to that. But I was thinking it was supposed to be like hose, like she was wearing some dark hose, like black hose, and it just looks brown because we're seeing her skin kind of peeking through the sheer fabric of the hose. And that's as I interpret this. That's what I think the purpose is. So I kind of figured that this is just so weird. Her underpants, the trunk area underneath the skirt, that's brown too. So either she's just wearing hose with no panties whatsoever, or they're just supposed to be brown pants. And I don't like the idea of brown pants, so that means she's a dirty girl. That's just all there is to it. I don't make these. I don't design these figures. I got no control over this. Al Davis is here and says, "Evening, Alan. That's the Marvel way of costume design for female heroes, covered up from the neck to the wrists. It certainly is with the modern female Marvel heroes. Back in the 80s and the 90s, that was not always the way. Of course, Rogue is always all covered up because she has to be because of her powers." Funny thing, going back to the idea of talking about like sheer leggings on the characters, I'll oftentimes see cosplayers do the Scarlet Witch, and understandably they'll give her like a pink bodysuit and sometimes just pink leggings, and they'll just have the top be skin because she's drawn that way in the comics sometimes. But honestly, I kind of figure that the Scarlet Witch should really be wearing like a sheer red bodysuit, and you know, it's not really like a pink, like an opaque pink bodysuit like it looks like it is in the comics. It's just kind of like this sheer red. So kind of like what I was saying with these I decided these are hose. That's what I was thinking about with that was kind of what I was thinking about with Scarlet Witch too. Al Davis says, I was amazed at Wonder Woman's outfit. That was excellent. It was hot. Sorry, what was I saying? Yeah, it's easy to get distracted. Yeah, they did a great job with Wonder Woman's outfit, and I liked that they made it a little more practical with like the armor and everything. It's kind of like the Wonder Woman outfit that I always wanted to see when I was a kid, because I was thinking to myself, like, you know, it's like they're supposed to be Amazons, they're supposed to be like ancient Greeks. You know, I've seen Clash of the Titans. I know what ancient Greeks are supposed to look like. What if she had like more of an armored type of outfit with like that? I didn't know the term gladiator kilt at the time, but like the leather strap kind of thing, like Skeletor's going on. And lo and behold, I just saw her over here a minute ago, because I know I had that figure over here. I just saw her. There we go. You know, if you did a more realistic, practical sort of Wonder Woman costume, that's what it would look like, with the breastplate and the kind of gladiator kilt going on and the armored boots. And you know, she looks cool. She looks really cool. And yes, Gal Gadot is a beautiful, beautiful woman. Agreed. Like the bodice, boots, and Greek-ish inspired stuff. Exactly. So let's see. What else do I have to talk about with her? Let's go ahead and talk about the articulation while I'm thinking about it. So Adora can't look up very far. Despara, whatever you want to call it. She's Adora right now. She can look down about that far, tilt her head kind of quizzically from side to side. The head does rotate all the way around, but it's going to kind of bump into the hair a little bit, so you kind of have to move the hair out of the way. I'm not going to bother. Her arms rotate all the way around the shoulders, of course. There's no bicep swivel on here, and she's just got a single joint of articulation at the elbow, and that rotates all the way around also, but it bends not quite 90 degrees. I think they could have gotten a better bend out of that elbow, if I'm being honest. Adora does have articulation at the mid-torso. Now, if I remember correctly, the classics version of this had like the vest slash dress slash leotard slash skirt, whatever you want to call it, was all kind of like a rubber sheath that fit over the entire torso. So that kind of hindered her articulation a little bit. So she's got better torso articulation than the classics figure. So that's 1 point she gets over classics. So point to Despara. All right, she rotates all the way around at the waist. Despara can kick up about that far. She can do the splits, no problem. She does have those drop-down hips. And if they ever decide to do a horse for this figure, she can fit on it pretty well because of that. She does have a thigh cut, so the thigh rotates all around. It's pretty stiff over there. This one's slightly less stiff. Despara slash Adora has double jointed knees. That's about the range of motion you get at the knees. So good range of motion there. And then she's got a boot cut. So the boot rotates all the way around. And then the foot points down about that far. The foot points up about that far. And then that rotates all the way around. So, you know, kind of, pretty typical Masteverse articulation for a female figure. Not the best, but but pretty decent. It's a fairly decently articulated figure. So let me see if I can get her to stand up, because that's going to be important later when I take the thumbnail picture. You know, I never did take the thumbnail picture for the enemy Cobra Commander, the Soldiers of Fortune figure that I opened up the other day. Yeah, she can stand up just fine. Let's go ahead and put this kilt back on her and try to see what that does with the articulation in the legs, because I think that's gonna cause some problems with that. But I want to see, like, maybe the engineering's good enough that it doesn't really. It's an odd choice to me that they decided to strap the kilt to the legs, and I get why they'd want to have leg straps on there, and I guess maybe they were trying to just save a little bit of money on tooling with just having it all be the same tool. And but I think it's going to cause some articulation problems. But we're going to find that out in a minute, since we are still talking about articulation. I'm not putting this armband back onto her because I know I'm just going to wind up taking it off again. And what I might wind up doing, you might get to see a little bit of the customizing process right now. Let's try something. And this is me like destroying a piece of an action figure on the stream. Don't see that very often, do you? So I took my snips and I cut this into it's now less of an O and more of a C. So now I can actually take it and place it around her arm and not have to worry about scraping the paint when I pull that off. It's very tight. Let's see. Al Davis says, I have an awesome Bandai Dragon Ball figure because of its excellent articulation, not because of being a fan of the property, but it has rubbery hair, a different material than the plastic of the figure. Interesting. I wonder if they did that for articulation purposes. I don't know what character you're talking about. Like Goku would be the first one I would think of. But some of the Goku, like Super Saiyans, have like that really long hair down the back. So maybe that. I don't know why the other figures don't have more rubbery hair to aid in tilting the head back up. Spongy material maybe for flying figures mostly. Yeah. And I mean, like, she's not a flying character, so it's not really like that big a deal on her, I don't think. But you know, I just like to point these things out when I open them up. Jason's Elector says Adora couldn't do much evil when sent by Hordak was my favorite part of the character. Yeah, like you know, I say like one was a good guy gone bad. When I was talking about Keldor and Adora, one was a good guy gone bad, and one was a bad guy who became good. But it's like it wasn't really Adora's fault she was a bad guy. She'd been raised by evil people. But I think, you know, deep down, there's that nature versus nurture thing. And deep down, Adora was always a good person. And even when she was being kind of gaslit into being this evil warrior. I mean, not like evil warrior with a capital, not like Skeletor's evil warriors, but you know what I mean. You know, I think there was always still that part of her that was trying to tell her, like her conscience, trying to tell her that this was wrong. She was so surprised to find out the Horde was evil. They're called the Evil Horde. I don't know what your issue was. All right, so now that I have this all this armor back on her, I'm gonna try to move her legs around a little bit. So it looks like that's about as far of a split as she can do. And you see, this is what's causing some problems since these straps are attached to the armored kilt. You can see it doesn't let her kick up very far. So that's worth pointing out, I think. Let's go ahead and you know, I don't think they're gonna fit, but I'm gonna try to see if we can fit the mask and the tiara onto the longer haired head. And I probably wouldn't leave it on there for very long, so it seems like it kind of stretches it out a little bit. But if I did want to do a custom where she had the longer hair and this tiara on, I'd probably like cut some notches in the hair so it would fit in all the way. But you're just going to have to use this shorter haired head whenever you want to use the mask or the tiara, I think. And like I said, my Despara is going to be displayed with the tiara. And now I have to buy a second one of these because I definitely want to have an Adora figure for display. So I guess, yeah, we'll have to buy a second one at some point. And then we'll put the strap back on. Which I don't know why they didn't just do the strap like this in the first place. That works a lot better. And then I put it on upside down because I'm such a genius. Yeah, they should have just had an opening in it where you could just kind of clamp it around her arm rather than having to try to pull it off over that gauntlet. Al Davis says it's called Dragon Star Series Vegeta Mini. I want to make one of the figures into a custom one into a raging Tetsuo from Akira. Ooh, that'd be cool. And Dragon Ball Daima, just looked at the package. Okay. I'll try to remember to check those out later. So I do really like this figure. Like I said, I kind of always had this idea of doing like an Adora in like kind of a Horde armor. Like if I did my version, that she would have her own sort of evil Horde outfit before she wound up becoming joining the Great Rebellion and becoming She-Ra and everything, and it would kind of have echoes of She-Ra in it, be like almost like an evil She-Ra. And this kind of scratches that itch for me. This is kind of similar to what I was thinking about in my head when I was coming up with that. I like this look with the tiara. I like this look much better than the mask. And even though I like this version of the mask better than the one that she's traditionally typically portrayed with, I still like this tiara better. I still think this is the better one. Al Davis says these figure reviews of yours are awesome, Alan. By the way, dude, thank you. Appreciate you. Always appreciate being appreciated. So anyway, I think that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this figure specifically and the character of Adora / Despara / She-Ra in general. And, what your preferred look for Despara is. If you made it all the way through this in the comments, let me know. Yeah, let me know what your preferred look for Despara is. I would appreciate that. YouTube likes it when I say like and subscribe, so I like to say like and subscribe, but I like it when you leave comments, so leaving comments always makes me happy. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Bye.